Because I'm quite a small female and you're quite big, I'm going to place you in handcuffs because you're an unknown risk to me, okay? So
right, does it have to be a male? You're not stopping recording?
No.
Handcuffs on by anybody.
Yeah. What is it you're filming today?
Well, the minute, them.
Him? Just
No, not him. The gatehouse.
Oh, the gatehouse.
Yeah, because I was just walking up and down taking pictures.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping to get a police car with the blue lights coming out.
Yeah.
I've got that now, what you spelt was shot anyway.
Okay.
And the gentleman come out and committed a public 5, section 5 public order offence.
Okay, what happened?
He said I'm not allowed to film.
Yeah.
And I explained to him I'm on a public road, so I can film.
Yeah.
And he called me an effing idiot, and it's all on film.
Right, okay. The gentleman in the...
Yeah, he had a security coat on with a big beard.
Right, okay. And you've got that on film?
I have, yeah.
Okay. What, are you wanting us to do anything about that? Were you planning on reporting it, or...?
I've just reported it to you, haven't I?
Right. At the moment, obviously, I'll deal with what you've just reported to me. Okay,
yep.
we'll take that into consideration. But we've had a report before anything of that has come through that there's been a male walking around with a balaclava on. Okay?
It's not a balaclava.
Okay, that's the report we've had. Okay,
right.
Because you are matching that description.
Yep. I'm
detaining you for a stop search under section 1 of case. Okay.
Really?
Based on the fact that sort of equipment. Okay.
So what's your reasonable grounds?
My grounds are
that I'm wearing a balaclava, which isn't a balaclava.
Okay. You match the description. You are covered in your face. Okay.
They close in around him, immediately treating him as if he has already done something wrong, and the moment he stands firm, the encounter quickly escalates. In this first part, the officer's focus is not on any actual behavior, but purely on appearance. He is deemed suspicious simply because his face is covered. This is not policing, this is judging someone by what they wear and assuming guilt without cause. If just having a face covering near a police station can trigger a search, then the authority given is limitless. Section 1 of the law is meant to allow stops only when there is a clear connection to specific items or concrete reason to detain. Someone here, the reasoning is completely reversed. Detain first, then hope something appears. This flawed approach is why the stop cannot stand under legal examination. It is not a question of poor handling, it is that the stop was never lawful from the very start.
We're looking at offences such as theft, going equipped, that sort of thing.
Okay.
That sort of equipment can be used for that. Okay.
Right, so what are you looking for then, particularly?
So any further equipment that could be used for in the course of conducting an offence such as theft or going equipped, okay?
Alright.
So because
you do realise you'll get a civil claim over this?
Okay, that's fine, yeah. Right, because I'm quite a small female and you're quite big, I'm going to place you in handcuffs because you're an unknown risk to me, okay? So
right, does it have to be a male? You're not stopping recording?
No.
Handcuffs on by anybody.
Yeah.
What are you doing holding the handcuffs?
I'm doing like that, holding your handcuff. That needs an explanation.
Well, it does. Look at your nails, you nearly scratched me with them.
Used as a weapon, can't they?
Can they?
So
what, when I'm in handcuffs?
Yes.
I can assure you now I'm going to cooperate. I don't agree to the search and I don't consent to the search, I'll make that clear.
You don't have to consent.
Okay, I've detained you in section 1 case, you don't have to agree to it, it's
not
a voluntary thing, okay? Right, will you want a copy of the stop search record?
Yes, I will.
Sorry, can you hold them for me while I just... Sorry.
Honestly, I'm not going to try and break out.
Yeah, but as
I'm not going to get far, am I?
The reasoning keeps shifting until it becomes nothing more than pure guesswork. Suddenly the focus is on theft, but there is no specific crime reported, just a vague search for items that might be used for theft. This does not meet the standard for lawful action. It is a fishing expedition. Section 1 does not give officers the right to search someone in hopes that suspicion will appear. Labeling this as civil claim territory is not exaggeration, it is precisely what is happening. Then the handcuffs are applied even though he remains calm, follows instructions, and does exactly what is asked. The explanation given is that she is small and he is an unknown risk. This is not a genuine assessment of danger, it is a default excuse. Size and uncertainty do not justify restraint actions. Do behavior alone determines risk. This is not managing safety, it is taking the easy way out, using cuffs to cover up weak reasoning and officer unease rather than addressing any real threat.
Being in a public place with a face covering, that's the offence.
What's your name, sorry, just so I can...
I don't give my name.
Okay. So I need it to complete the form, and also if you want to process your complaint about the public order thing, I'll need your details anyway.
Right. You can just call me FT.
FT, okay. I'm going to need more than that if you want me to deal with that complaint.
No.
Because I can't deal with that.
So you don't want to make a complaint about the section 5 public order offence? Because you would need to give your details as a victim.
Alright, so if there's a murder and the person's dead, how do they make a complaint? Do they give their name? I don't think so.
That's quite a different situation.
Is it?
And we generally identify...
Right, we're getting on with this search. We've got better things to do than stand here talking around to you muppets.
You didn't have much better things to do because you were standing here filming, weren't you?
You have the grounds to search, explain to you and everything.
Well, yeah, apparently they're looking for, what is it you're looking for? Crowbars?
Can be used in the
Wow.
Been detained in section 1 of case then PC 3096. I'm policing from here, this police station here, Fly Police Station.
Congratulations.
So, been offered a copy of the search record?
I have been offered a copy of search. You don't need my name for that though.
Section 5 argument gets completely misused here from the start. 3 times Audit points out that a member of the public approaches and swears at him. That is the kind of behavior that could genuinely fall under a public order offense, yet the officers ignore that and later twist Section 5 back onto him. Suddenly they demand his name, claiming they cannot move forward with the complaint, as if choosing to report an offense somehow makes you the suspect. That is not how complaints work, no. One loses the right to report wrongdoing because they decline to hand over personal details. The real clue is in the timing. Section 5 only becomes a tool once officers are frustrated and searching for leverage. This is not about addressing disorder, it is about regaining control. Recast the complainant as the problem, and the original misconduct quietly vanishes.
Okay, so top cuff's going to come off first.
Shouldn't have been put on really, should it?
When you're detained for a search, it's the officer's choice whether to put you in handcuffs, but we are legally allowed to do so.
We'll see. So you can witness the markings on my hand?
Yep.
I'll go towards the... Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4 police cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 police officers. We all constables. No detectives here, is there? No inspectors. Couldn't detect anything, could they? What I might do later, I might film all these registrations in here as well. Alright. I'll probably just put them on the internet.
What are you going to do that for?
Because I like taking videos and putting them on the internet.
People's registrations of their vehicles.
It's not illegal though, is it?
You can film wherever you want.
Exactly.
Search concludes exactly as it was always destined, with nothing discovered. When the handcuffs are removed, the deep marks on his wrists are undeniable. These are not the kind of light impressions that come from brief necessary restraint. When visible marks remain, restraint stops being about safety and starts looking like punishment for refusing to comply with the narrative. Then comes the quiet contradiction that exposes everything. When he asks if filming vehicles is illegal, the officer answers, "You can film whatever you want." That single statement destroys all the previous justification. If filming is lawful at the end, it was lawful from the beginning, and the detention, the handcuffs, and the search fall apart. What remains is not confusion, but a clear demonstration of how quickly rights vanish when officers do not approve of how they are being exercised.
So why'd you wear the thin blue line badge then? Part of the gang? Do you know more people, the public, have died in police custody in the last 30 years than police officers have died on active duty in the last 100 years. Where's your badge for that? Silence. Feel proud today? Done a good job today? Go home and tell the children.
I advise you that your actions could be construed as hostile reconnaissance towards terrorism.
What? I just said you've done a good job today.
Police personal vehicles.
Hostile.
For the purpose of putting them on
Terrorism.
for whatever reason that might
Oh,
be.
go on, keep digging that hole.
It's hostile reconnaissance for terrorism offences.
Hostile. If I was hostile reconnaissance, I wouldn't be overt, would I?
No,
I'd be
you don't understand
covert.
what hostile reconnaissance means. It's all right.
You're allowed to do reconnaissance.
You're not
If I wanted to, I could map all this ground.
It could be construed as committing hostile reconnaissance for terrorism offences. I'm just
Right.
making you aware
Right,
of
okay,
that.
let me make you aware of this. If you think I'm a terrorist, you should leave me alone and contact the anti-terrorism squad. Because if you thought I was a terrorist, you wouldn't all come up to me like this, would you?
Officer starts labeling his filming as hostile under terrorism laws. It reveals the truth immediately. Recording police vehicles and sharing it online is not a sign of terrorism. It is an everyday activity done by thousands of people. There is no intelligence, no threat indicators, and no hostile intent, just a camera and officers who feel uneasy being watched. Using terrorism language in this context does not make the situation serious. It makes it careless and exaggerated. 3 times audits. Response remains the only one based in reality. If there were a real terrorism concern, the proper step would be to involve counterterrorism specialists. That is the clear dividing line. Either a genuine risk exists that requires expert action, or it does not. The fact that nothing occurs beyond casually invoking the word shows everything clearly. Terrorism is not a feeling, and treating it as one exposes how baseless this stop really was.
What I said was, your actions can be construed as hostile reconnaissance.
I've had enough of you now, off your pop.
offences.
Not talking to you anymore, talk rubbish.
We can be here just as much as you can be here.
Oh yeah, I know you can. But I can tell you to off your pop. Anybody filming?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you're supposed to tell me at the first available opportunity. As part of your policy. You don't even know your own policy. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Can you just inform him that if he swears at me again, I will press charges?
I'm watching too much American TV. You don't press charges.
Alright, then I'll file a claim.
Do you want your coffee?
Yes, I do.
There you go. Right, he's having a word with him, okay? And we'll leave you to it. But
Should have left me to it in the first place.
no, we had grounds to stop and speak to you instead.
I don't think you did.
Okay, that's fine. Be mindful of what my colleagues just said to you, okay?
What, that I'm a terrorist? If you thought I was a terrorist, you should act on it now. Off your pot. Off your pot. Off your pot. See you later.
Alright, so stand here all day.
Alright, cool. Yeah, see? Knew you'd leave first.
Oh, did you?
Wait, are you going to the shop to buy some polish for your boots? Not seen a bit of polish in years then.
The time the officers finally walked away, the result had already been decided long before the search even ended. It was not based on evidence, but on assumptions from the very beginning. Free Times Audits was not treated as a citizen exercising a lawful right, but as someone to control. This stop was never a response to crime, it was a preemptive action aimed at discouraging transparency. That is why finding nothing did not lead to reflection. It only led to disengagement. What defines this encounter is how normalized the overreach had become. There was no panic, no chaos, just routine escalation carried out almost automatically. Clothing was treated as suspicion, filming was treated as intent, uncertainty was treated as risk. Every step followed a familiar script officers seemed to rely on whenever they disliked being observed. This is more concerning than any heated argument because it shows how easily intrusive powers slip into everyday use. Without anyone questioning them, the aftermath confirms it. Free Times Audits pursued a civil claim, and the police paid out a quiet acknowledgement that the stop could not withstand scrutiny. No crime was prevented, no threat was discovered, just public funds handed over because officers could not handle being filmed. When accountability only arrives through a financial settlement, the issue is not misunderstanding, it is culture. If you found value in this analysis, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and keep this kind of accountability in the spotlight. I am the Audit Assessor, and this was episode 4. See you next time.